Hi, let's solve the very first question from today's weekly contest, that is split the array. So in this question, we are given an integer array nums which is of even length, and we need to split the array in two parts, nums1 and nums2, such that nums1 of length and nums2 length should be equal to nums length by 2, divided by 2, right? Basically two parts. Let's say if the length of the array is 8, so you have to split the array in two arrays of 4 size each. And what you have to do is that nums1 and nums2, these both arrays after splitting must contain distinct elements, and we need to return true if it is possible to split the array, otherwise false, right? So that is the question. So question is pretty easy. Let's take the very first test case. So the nums array given to us is 1 1 2 2 3 and 4. This is the array, right? And I need to divide it in nums 1, and the length is going to be whatever the length is of nums array divided by 2. So here it is 6 divided by 2, that means 3. So we are going to have 3 elements in nums 1, and in nums 2 also we are going to have 3 elements now. So that is, we are clear. All we have to do in this question is, see, here we don't have to take contiguous elements. Rather, we can take any element and place in nums1 or nums2, correct? And doing that, we want to place elements in such a way, nums1 and nums2 from nums array, that nums1 and nums2 both contain distinct elements, right? Here in this case, if you see, we have two ones here, right? So that means if I place one of the ones here and the other ones here, then I avoid this duplicacy of having one in only one array, correct? And similarly for 2, and then 3 or 4 I can place anywhere. So now you can see this array and this array, right? They both have distinct elements. Now, so in this case we'll simply return true. So I hope now you have understood the question, right? And how will we solve it, right? So this is how it becomes very easy, because we have to simply split in two parts. Also, we have the freedom to move any of the elements anywhere in nums1 or nums2, which simply gives us the idea that, let's say I have the frequency of an element as 2, right? So that means I can place one of the elements in nums1 and the other elements in nums2. But what if it becomes 3? If it becomes 3, then definitely one of the array nums1 or nums2 is going to have duplicate element. The reason being, you have 3 elements, right? And you only have 2 arrays. How will you make the elements in both of these distinct when any element's frequency is 3, right? That means, so that is the whole logic. You have to iterate in the nums array. You have to count the frequencies, right? Frequency of each and every element inside of nums array, nums I. And after we get these frequencies, all we have to do is iterate in these frequencies and simply check if there is any element with frequency greater than 2, right? If it is true, that means we cannot make two arrays with distinct elements, right? We cannot split the array then, and then we'll simply return false. Otherwise, if we don't encounter this condition, right, we can simply return true, right? So in this case, if I see, what I can do is I can create a frequency array. For 1, the frequency is going to be 2. For 2, the frequency is 2. 3, it's 1. And let me add 4 here. 4 also, it's 1. Correct. So now we'll iterate in this array. And as you can see, the frequencies are not greater than 2. It is 1, right? They are not greater than 2. That means I have to return true. Otherwise, let me take an example where we have this array, okay? So right now, what you can do is nums1 can be of length 4, 1 2 3 4, right? And nums2 will be of length 1 2 3 4, correct? Now let's place one here, another one here. Then you will start placing 2 2, place 3 here, place 3 here. 4 can go anywhere. Now this particular one that is left, right, we only use 2 once, has to go here. Or if 4 was placed here, would have to go here. Now you can see that this frequency that is greater than 2 is causing problem, because we only have two containers to place these elements to, right? And we have to make these elements distinct, so we cannot when the frequency is greater than 2. So in this case, when we'll create our map or frequency array, for 1 it will be 3, for 2 it will be 2, for 3 it will be 2, for 4 it will be 1. So up to here it's okay. But as soon as I come to here, that 1, for 1 it's 3, that means I have to return false. So that's the whole logic, and that is what you have to basically do. Create the map or frequency array, iterate in this map, and simply check for this condition. If it is true, this condition, right, that any frequency is greater than 2, you have to return false. That means you cannot split the array. And now let's see, the code is very easy. You take a map, and first you iterate in the nums array and you create this map. Then after you get all the frequencies, simply check if any frequency is greater than 2 and simply return false. So that is the whole logic. So time complexity will be big O of n because you're iterating in nums array and then the map, and space complexity will be big O of n as well.